Here's a principle that might feel a little bold, a little uncomfortable at first. Most of what you think of as conversation is a complete waste of your time. Think about it. The endless small talk at work, the polite but empty exchanges at social gatherings, the back and forth texting that says nothing of real importance. You spend hours each week moving your mouth, typing with your thumbs, exchanging sounds and symbols, and at the end of it all, you feel no more connected to people than when you began. In fact, sometimes you feel even more alone. It's like you're eating food with no nutritional value. You can fill your stomach, but you're still starving. You are filling your time with talk, but you are starving for connection. You're putting in all this effort, smiling, nodding, asking the right questions, but the result is a feeling of emptiness. It's a wasted effort. You feel tired, but you don't know why. This is why. You're performing connection instead of experiencing it. But what if you could change that? What if every single conversation you have holds the potential for genuine, energizing human connection? What if you knew the secret to turning hollow small talk into conversations that feed your soul? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to have conversations that truly connect and how to make it part of your life starting today. And if you're new here, this is English Made Easy. Our channel helps you learn English in the simplest and most natural way possible through real-life lessons, deep thinking, and meaningful stories. Don't worry if you hear a difficult word. I'll explain it in plain English, so you not only improve your language, but your life too. So, let's begin. Imagine that you and another person are standing on opposite banks of a wide, flowing river. This river is the space between you, the silence, the distance, the potential for connection. Most of our daily conversations are like shouting across this river. We yell, "How are you?" And they yell back, "Fine, thanks. You?" We toss words back and forth. The words travel over the water, but we remain on our separate sides. This is small talk. It's safe, it's easy, but it never, ever gets you across the river. A true, meaningful conversation is not about shouting louder. It's about building a bridge. Think about that for a moment. A bridge. Something solid, something real, built piece by piece, plank by plank, until you can walk across it and stand on the same ground as the other person. This bridge is called rapport. That's pronounced rapport. It's a beautiful word from French. Rapport is a close and harmonious relationship where the people involved understand each other's feelings and ideas and communicate well. It's that feeling of being in sync with someone. It's the feeling of a sturdy bridge beneath your feet. The biggest mistake we make in our social lives is thinking that talking is connecting. We think that if we just keep throwing words across the river, a bridge will magically appear. But it won't. You have to build it. And a bridge requires a foundation. It requires strong pillars. It requires careful, intentional work. It's not an accident. It's an act of creation. So, how do you build this bridge? The very first part, the ground on which you must build, is something we all crave but are often terrified to show. It's the foundation of every strong relationship in existence. It's authenticity. That's pronounced authenticity. Authenticity means being real. It means showing up as you actually are, not as the person you think you're supposed to be. It means taking off the mask. You know the mask I'm talking about. The "I'm fine" mask. The "I have it all together" mask. The "I agree with everything you're saying so you'll like me" mask.
We wear these masks because we are afraid. We are afraid that if people see the real us, the messy, uncertain, sometimes sad, sometimes weird, real us, they will reject us. So, we perform. We become actors in our own lives, playing the role of someone who was always happy, always confident, always interesting. The result of this performance is a life filled with superficial conversations. Let's break down that word, superficial. It's pronounced superficial. When something is superficial, it only exists on the surface. It has no depth. Think of a puddle of water on the street. It's wide, but it's only a centimeter deep. You can't swim in it. You can't find any life in it. It's superficial. A superficial conversation is the same. It's all surface. Nice weather. Busy week. Did you see the game? There's no depth. This is the kind of conversation that happens when two masks are talking to each other. Your mask talks to their mask, but the real you, the person behind the mask, remains unseen, unheard, and lonely. This is why you can spend an entire evening surrounded by people and feel completely isolated. Because you are not there. A representative is. A carefully curated, edited version of you is there. I remember going to a job interview years ago for a company I desperately wanted to work for. I researched the company culture, and I decided they were looking for someone very outgoing, very energetic, a real go-getter. Now, I can be those things, but I'm also naturally quiet and thoughtful. I'm an introvert, but I hid that. I walked in and put on a performance. I was loud. I was overly enthusiastic. I pretended to love team-building activities that I secretly find exhausting. And you know what? I got the job. But for the first 6 months, I was miserable. I had to keep up the performance every single day. I was terrified that my colleagues would discover that I wasn't the super extroverted person I pretended to be. I had built connections, but they were all with a person who didn't really exist. The foundation was fake. The bridge was built on sand. And eventually, I had to let the mask slip. It was a painful process of rebuilding relationships from a place of honesty. I had become disillusioned. That's a powerful word, pronounced disillusioned. To be disillusioned means feeling disappointed because something you believed to be true or good turned out to be false. That feeling, it's like waking up from a dream that wasn't real. I was disillusioned with the idea that I had to be someone else to be successful. Connection cannot happen without authenticity. It is a prerequisite. This word is pronounced prerequisite. A prerequisite is something that is required as a prior condition for something else to happen. You must have a prerequisite before you can move to the next step. You need flour and water before you can make bread. Authenticity is the prerequisite for connection. So here is a small, simple challenge for you. Think about one small, safe, true thing you can share in your next conversation. It doesn't have to be a deep, dark secret. It can be simple. Instead of saying, I'm fine, maybe you say, I'm actually feeling a little tired today. Instead of pretending to love a movie everyone is talking about, you can say, I know it's popular, but it wasn't really for me. I found it a bit slow. This is an act of vulnerability. It's pronounced vulnerability. Try saying that word out loud. Vulnerability. It means being open to being emotionally seen. For a long time, I thought vulnerability was a weakness, but it isn't. Vulnerability is the courage to be real. It's the first plank you lay down on your bridge. When you share something real, you are saying, this is the real me. Here is a small piece of my truth. You are taking a risk. But here's the secret. You cannot build a bridge without taking the first step. Authenticity is the solid ground you are starting from. But a foundation is not enough. A bridge needs pillars to hold it up. The first and most important pillar of a connecting conversation is curiosity. Most of us don't enter conversations with curiosity. We enter them with an agenda. Our agenda might be to impress the other person. It might be to prove a point. It might be to get something we want. Or, most often, our agenda is simply to figure out what we're going to say next. You're talking to someone and they're telling you a story. Are you truly listening, or is there a part of your brain that is busy formulating your response? You're waiting for them to pause so you can jump in with your own story, your own opinion, your own advice. This is not curiosity. This is waiting for your turn to talk. Genuine curiosity is a shift in your entire mindset. It's moving from, what can I say to sound interesting, to, who is this person in front of me? It's a genuine, deep-down desire to understand their world. It's the force that drives you to walk across the bridge you are building. Curiosity transforms your questions. When you're not curious, you ask superficial, data-collecting questions. Where are you from? What do you do? How many siblings do you have? These are like taking a census. You are collecting facts, not understanding a person. But when you are genuinely curious, your questions become substantive. There's that word from the title, substantive. It's pronounced substantive. It means having a firm basis in reality, being important, meaningful, or considerable. A substantive question is one that invites a meaningful, considered response. It goes below the surface. Let's see how this works in practice. Instead of asking, "How was your weekend?" a question that usually gets the answer, "Good," a curious person might ask, "What was the most memorable part of your weekend?" Or, "Did you do anything that recharged you for the week ahead?" Do you see the difference? The first question is a closed door. The second is an open one. It invites a story. It invites reflection. Instead of asking, "What do you do for work?" which puts people in a box, a curious person might ask, "What's something you're passionate about?" Or, "What's a problem you've been trying to solve lately, at work or otherwise?" These questions are powerful because they're not about gathering data. They are about exploring another person's inner world. They show that you are not just interested in the label, but in the person. But the real magic of curiosity is not in the first question. It's in the follow-up. It's in the two most powerful words in any conversation. Tell me more. Someone says, "I'm feeling really stressed about a project at work." The non-curious response is to immediately offer advice. "Oh, you should try making a list," or to turn the conversation back to yourself. "I know what you mean. I'm so stressed too." The curious response is to pause and gently say, "Tell me more about that. What about it is stressful?" This is a gift. You are giving that person space. You are telling them, "I am here. I am listening. Your experience matters to me." You are not trying to fix them. You are not trying to one-up them. You are simply trying to understand. When someone is genuinely curious about you, it feels like a warm light is shining on you. You feel yourself relax. You feel safe to open up. A few years ago, I met an older gentleman at a small community event. We started talking, and I expected the usual small talk, but he was different. I mentioned that I enjoyed writing, and instead of just nodding, he leaned in slightly. He said, "That's fascinating. What is it about writing that you love? Does it feel like discovery or more like building something? I was stunned. No one had ever asked me that. And then he kept going. What's the hardest part about it for you? Is it the blank page or the editing? We talked for almost an hour, and I realized he probably spoke for less than 10% of that time. He was just so profoundly interested in my experience. I walked away from that conversation feeling like I understood myself better, just because someone had taken the time to ask the right questions. He wasn't trying to be interesting, he was just interested. And it made him the most interesting person I had met in years. This deep, active curiosity is the engine of empathy. That's a word you probably know. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's not sympathy, which is feeling sorry for someone. Empathy is feeling with someone. It's trying to imagine what it's like to be standing in their shoes, on their side of the river. Curiosity is the tool you use to build your bridge, and empathy is what allows you to finally walk across it and feel what the ground is like over there. So you've laid your foundation of authenticity, you are showing up as your true self, and you are using the pillar of curiosity to explore the world of the other person. But a bridge cannot be built from only one side. If you are the only one being authentic and the only one being curious, the conversation will feel unbalanced. It will feel like an interview. This brings us to the second great pillar of connection, reciprocity. It's pronounced res, a, pro, si, t, reciprocity. Reciprocity is a powerful principle in social psychology. It means the practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit. In a conversation, it's the give and take, the dance of sharing and listening. Have you ever been in a conversation with an interrogator? This is the person who has learned that asking questions is good, so they just fire questions at you one after another. Where did you grow up? What was that like? What did you study? Why did you choose that? After 5 minutes, you feel like you're under a spotlight being questioned by police. They haven't shared a single thing about themselves. This is not a bridge. It's a one-way street. Or maybe you've met the opposite, the monologuer. This is the person who talks and talks and talks without ever pausing to ask you a single question. They tell you about their job, their vacation, their problems, their opinions, and you just stand there nodding, waiting for an opening that never comes. This isn't a bridge either. This is a lecture from across the river. Both of these are failures of reciprocity. A connecting conversation needs to flow back and forth. It's a delicate balance. You share a small piece of your authentic self. This act of vulnerability is an invitation. It says, I've shown you a part of me. Is it safe to show me a part of you? When the other person accepts that invitation and shares something in return, the first real connection is made. A plank has been laid on the bridge. Then you respond with curiosity. You ask them a question about what they just shared. You listen deeply to their answer. And then you share another small piece of yourself that relates to their experience. Another plank is laid. This back and forth, this give and take, this is reciprocity in action. This is how rapport is built. A practical technique to help with this is something I call the acknowledge and add rule. When someone shares something with you, your first job is to acknowledge what they said. Show them you heard it. Then your second job is to add a small, related piece of your own story. For example, a friend says, I'm feeling so overwhelmed lately. I feel like I'm juggling a dozen things and I'm about to drop them all. The wrong response would be to immediately jump in with, oh my God, me too. Let me tell you about my week. You've skipped the acknowledgement. The right response follows the rule. First, acknowledge. That sounds incredibly stressful. Juggling that much at once is exhausting. Then, add. I remember feeling that exact same way last year when I was moving apartments while starting a new project. I felt like my brain was running 100 tabs at once. Do you see the magic in this? First, by acknowledging their feeling, you make them feel seen and heard. You've shown them empathy. Second, by adding your own related experience, you do two things. You normalize their feeling, they are not alone in this, and you make yourself vulnerable in return. You are now connected in the shared human experience of feeling overwhelmed. You are building the bridge from both sides. This is reciprocity. It's a dance, and when you get the rhythm right, it feels effortless and beautiful. So now you have the foundation of authenticity and the two great pillars of curiosity and reciprocity. But how do you actually put the planks in place? How do you use your words to build this bridge? This brings us to the tools you need, the art of articulation and the power of deep listening. Let's start with what it means to be articulate. That's pronounced articulate. To be articulate means to express your ideas and feelings fluently and coherently. It's the ability to put your inner world into words that another person can understand. This is not about using big, fancy, C2 level vocabulary to impress people. In fact, sometimes the simplest words are the most powerful. Being articulate is about clarity and honesty. It's about finding the right words to describe a feeling or an experience. One of the most common ways we fail to be articulate is when we talk about our emotions. We use vague, blurry words. I'm stressed. I'm angry. I'm happy. These words are labels, but they don't describe the experience. To be truly articulate, you need to go deeper. Instead of just, I'm stressed, you might say, I feel a tightness in my chest, like there's a clock ticking down and I'm running out of time. I feel scattered, like my attention is being pulled in 100 directions at once. I feel a heavy weight on my shoulders, like I'm carrying a burden that isn't mine. These are metaphors, but they are incredibly powerful. They paint a picture of your inner world. You are not just telling someone what you feel, you are showing them how it feels. You are giving them a window into your soul. This is a profound act of articulation. Another key to being articulate is using I statements. This is especially important in difficult conversations. Instead of saying, you always interrupt me, which is an accusation that will make the other person defensive, you can say, when I'm trying to explain something and I get cut off, I feel like my opinion isn't valued and I lose my train of thought. The first statement attacks. The second statement explains your experience. It's articulate, it's honest, and it's non-confrontational. It invites understanding, not conflict. But articulation is only half of the equation. For every person speaking with clarity, there must be a person listening with intention. This isn't just passive hearing. This is deep listening. Deep listening means you are not just waiting for your turn to talk. You are not thinking about your reply. You are giving your full, undivided attention to the other person. You are listening not just to the words they are saying, but to the emotions behind the words. You are listening for the things they aren't saying. You are listening to their tone of voice, their body language, the pauses between their words. The biggest enemy of deep listening is the urge to fix things. Someone shares a problem, and our brain immediately jumps to solutions. We want to give advice, to offer a plan, to make the problem go away. But most of the time, people don't want a solution. They want to be heard. They want to know that someone understands their struggle. The simple act of listening without judgment is one of the greatest gifts you can give another human being. A powerful tool for deep listening is called reflective listening. This is where you simply reflect back what you heard the person say in your own words. Someone might say, "I just don't know what to do. My boss is putting so much pressure on me, but my family says I'm not home enough. I feel like I'm failing everywhere." A reflective response would be, "So what I'm hearing is that you feel trapped between the demands of your work and the needs of your family, and it feels impossible to succeed at both." When you do this, something magical happens. The person feels an incredible sense of relief. They think, "Yes, that's it. You get it." It shows you are truly listening, and it gives them a chance to hear their own thoughts more clearly. It creates clarity. Let's pause on that word, clarity. It's pronounced clarity. Clarity means the quality of being clear and easy to understand. When you help someone find clarity in their own thoughts, you are giving them a priceless gift. Now, a bridge built with these materials, authenticity, curiosity, reciprocity, articulation, is strong. But even the strongest bridges face storms. In conversation, these storms are things like disagreement and silence. Let's talk about disagreement. We are often terrified of it. We think that if someone disagrees with us, the connection is broken. The bridge will collapse. But this is not true. Disagreement is not a sign of a failed connection. It's a test of its strength. If your goal is to win the argument, you are no longer building a bridge. You are back on your side of the river, shouting. But if your goal is to understand, a disagreement becomes an opportunity. You can say one of the most powerful phrases in a connecting conversation. "Help me understand your perspective." This phrase changes everything. It's not, "Why do you think that crazy thing?" It's, "I see things differently, but I trust and respect you, so I want to understand how you see it." This shows that you value the relationship more than you value being right. This is how relationships become resilient. Do you know this word? Resilient. It's pronounced re-zil-yent. It means being able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. A resilient friendship or relationship is one that can handle disagreements and challenges and become even stronger because of them. And what about the other storm? Silence. Oh, we hate silence, don't we? A pause in the conversation feels awkward, like something has gone wrong. We rush to fill it with any words we can find just to break the tension. But what if we reframed silence? What if silence isn't an empty space, but a thinking space? When you ask a substantive question, the other person might need a moment to think. That silence isn't a rejection, it's a sign of respect for your question. When someone shares something deeply personal, the silence that follows isn't awkwardness, it's a shared space of emotional weight. It's a moment of quiet connection. Try this simple challenge. The next time a silence falls in a conversation, don't rush to fill it. Count to 3 in your head. Just wait. Let the silence breathe. You might be amazed at what the other person shares when they are given the space to do so. So, where does this all lead? You start with the foundation of authenticity, being your real self. You build with the pillars of curiosity, wanting to understand, and reciprocity, the dance of give and take. You use the tools of articulation, speaking your truth clearly, and deep listening, hearing the truth of others. You learn to navigate the storms of disagreement and the quiet spaces of silence. You do all of this, piece by piece, and you build a bridge. And when you walk across that bridge, when you stand on the same ground as another human being, you experience a feeling that is one of the deepest joys of life. It's a feeling of fulfillment. Let's end with that word, which is pronounced fulfillment. Say it out loud. Fulfillment. It means the feeling of being happy and satisfied because you are developing your full character and abilities. It's so much deeper than just being happy. It's the feeling you get when you live a life of meaning and purpose. And a huge part of that meaning comes from our connections with others. The empty feeling you get from superficial small talk is the feeling of social starvation. The deep sense of fulfillment you get from a truly connecting conversation is the feeling of being nourished at the soul level. It's the feeling of being seen, heard, and understood. It is the antidote to the loneliness that haunts our modern world. This isn't about becoming a perfect conversationalist. It's not a formula to memorize. It's a shift in your intention. It's about deciding that you want to stop performing and start connecting. It's a practice, one conversation at a time. It will feel scary at first. It will require courage. But the reward is a life richer in meaning and deeper in connection than you ever thought possible. You don't need more conversations. You need more connection.